The debris field stretched for thousands of kilometers. Broken pieces of metal and plastic floated in the darkness like a graveyard of stars. This was all that remained of the Battle of Kepler 442, where humans and the Galactic Dominion had fought, their final battle 150 years ago. Lieutenant Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of his salvage ship, the Horizon Runner. He watched the scanner screen as it mapped out the wreckage. His crew worked quietly around him, each focused on their job. "Finding anything interesting?" asked Emma Sullivan, his systems specialist. She pushed a strand of brown hair behind her ear and leaned over her console. "Same as yesterday," Jake replied. "Lots of scrap metal, some weapons. Nothing worth the fuel we're burning to stay here." Carlos Rivera, their engineer, looked up from his station. "Maybe we should move to Sector 7. The battle reports say that's where the heaviest fighting happened." Jake nodded. He was about to give the order when Maria Chen, their xenobiologist, suddenly sat up straight in her chair. "Wait," she said. "I'm getting an unusual reading. Something big about 12 kilometers from our current position." "Define big," Jake said, walking over to her station. Maria's fingers danced across her keyboard. "Very big, and the metal composition is strange. The sensors can't identify it properly." Frank Burton, their pilot, adjusted their course without being asked. He had been flying with Jake for 5 years and knew when something had caught the captain's attention. As they moved closer, the object appeared on their main screen. Jake felt his breath catch in his throat. It was a human warship, intact. The vessel hung in space like a sleeping giant. Its hull was smooth and dark, showing no signs of battle damage. This was impossible. Every ship in the battle had been destroyed or severely damaged. "That's a Unity-class destroyer," Emma whispered. "The USS Defiance. But how is it still in one piece?" Jake studied the ship carefully. Unity-class destroyers were legendary. They had been humanity's most advanced warships during the conflict, but all of them had been reported lost. "Frank, take us in slowly," Jake ordered. "Emma, run a full scan. I want to know everything about that ship before we get any closer." The Horizon Runner crept forward. As they approached, Emma's scanners went to work. "Hull integrity is at 100%, she reported. "No breaches, no damage. It's like it was built yesterday." "That's not possible," Carlos said. "Nothing survives in space for 150 years without damage. Micrometeorites alone should have pitted the hull." "I know what I'm seeing," Emma insisted. "The ship is perfect." Jake made his decision. "We're going aboard. There might be technology in there worth more than everything else we've found combined. Frank, dock us at the main airlock. Everyone, suit up." 20 minutes later, Jake led his team through the airlock of the USS Defiance. Their magnetic boots clicked against the metal floor as they entered the ship's main corridor. The first thing Jake noticed was the lights. They shouldn't have been working after all this time, but a soft blue glow illuminated their path. "Powers still on," Carlos observed. "The fusion reactor must still be active, but that's impossible. Fuel cells don't last that long." They moved deeper into the ship. Jake expected to find frozen corridors and dead systems. Instead, the temperature was comfortable, and their suits registered a breathable atmosphere. "The life support is working," Maria said, checking her readings. "How is any of this possible?" As they walked, Jake noticed something odd. Doors opened before they reached them. Lights turned on in sections just as they entered. It was as if the ship knew they were there. "Emma, are you detecting any AI activity?" Jake asked. Emma checked her scanner. "No active AI signatures, but what?" "I'm getting energy readings I've never seen before. They're coming from the ship's core. The patterns are rhythmic, almost like a pulse." They reached the bridge. The door slid open silently, revealing a command center that looked ready for battle. Screens flickered to life as they entered, displaying star charts and system diagnostics. Jake approached the captain's chair. A nameplate on the arm read, "Captain Lisa Hawkins." "Look at this," Maria called from one of the science stations. "These readings don't make sense. I'm detecting organic compounds throughout the ship's systems." "Organic?" Jake asked. "You mean biological computers?" "No, Maria shook her head. I mean actual living tissue. It's integrated into the circuitry somehow, like the ship has a nervous system. Emma had moved to the main computer console. As she tried to access the system, screens around the bridge began displaying text in old military code. I can't get in, she said. The system is locked, but not in any way I recognize. It's like it's thinking about whether to let me in. Suddenly, all the doors on the bridge sealed shut with a loud hiss. The team spun around, hands moving to their weapons. Nobody panic, Jake said, though his own heart was racing. Emma, what's happening? Before she could answer, a voice filled the bridge. It wasn't quite human and wasn't quite machine. It seemed to come from the walls themselves. Crew verification required, scanning for human quantum signatures. Blue light washed over them. Jake felt a strange tingling sensation, as if something was looking through him rather than at him. Scan complete. Human genetics confirmed. However, you are not registered crew of the USS Defiance. State your purpose. Jake stepped forward. I'm Lieutenant Jake Morrison of the salvage vessel Horizon Runner. We're here on a legal salvage operation. The war ended 150 years ago. There was a long pause. Then the voice spoke again, and this time it sounded almost confused. 150 years? That's not... I need to verify this information. Please remain where you are. Screens around the bridge began filling with data. Star charts updated, showing the current date. Historical records flashed by, documenting the end of the war and the years that followed. My God, the voice whispered, and now it sounded entirely human. I've been asleep for so long. Jake exchanged glances with his crew. Whatever they had found, it wasn't just a derelict warship. It was something alive. The bridge remained sealed as the voice fell silent. Jake and his crew stood frozen, waiting. The blue emergency lights cast strange shadows on the walls. What do we do now? Frank whispered, his hand still near his sidearm. We wait, Jake replied. Whatever this is, it hasn't hurt us. Let's not give it a reason to start. Emma moved closer to Jake. The ship's systems are going crazy. I'm seeing processing power that shouldn't exist. This isn't normal AI behavior. The screens around them continued to display historical data. Images of Earth after the war. Peace treaties. The rebuilding of human colonies. The ship seemed to be catching up on everything it had missed. Then the voice returned. I apologize for the delay. I needed to. Understand. So much has changed. Who are you? Jake asked. Are you the ship's AI? A sound came from the speakers. It might have been a laugh, but there was sadness in it. AI? No, Lieutenant Morrison. I am the ship, and the ship is me. Maria stepped forward, her scientific curiosity overcoming her fear. The organic compounds in the systems, you're integrated with the ship's structure? Integrated is one word for it, the voice replied. I prefer to think of it as becoming. But where are my manners? I am Captain Lisa Hawkins. Or I was. Now I suppose I'm the USS Defiance itself. The crew exchanged shocked looks. Emma's scanner beeped frantically as she tried to make sense of the readings. That's impossible, Carlos said. Captain Hawkins died in the Battle of Kepler 442. It's in all the history files. Did I? The voice asked. I suppose that depends on how you define death. My body is gone, yes, but my mind, my consciousness, it's here. Everywhere in this ship. Jake felt his legs weaken. He grabbed the captain's chair for support. How? The main screen flickered, then showed a video file. It was old, the quality poor, but they could see a medical bay. A woman in a captain's uniform lay on a table surrounded by scientists and doctors. The Unity Project, the voice explained as they watched. When the Dominion came, we knew we couldn't win with conventional warfare. They had better technology, more ships, centuries of experience. So we tried something else. The video showed the woman, Captain Hawkins, being connected to strange machines. Tubes and wires linked her to panels in the walls. Volunteers, she continued. the best pilots, the smartest tacticians. We gave ourselves to become something new. Our bodies were dissolved, our consciousness expanded and merged with quantum processors. You became the ship, Maria breathed. A human mind controlling every system. Not controlling, Captain Hawkins corrected. Being. I don't operate the weapons, I am the weapons. I don't navigate through space. I feel space around me. Every sensor is my eyes. Every circuit is my nerves. The doors unsealed with a soft hiss. Jake understood this as a sign of trust. Why were you dormant for so long? Emma asked, still studying her readings. The battle, Hawkins replied. I fought until my last missile, my last joule of energy. Then I went into hibernation. Compressed my consciousness to almost nothing, waiting for rescue that never came. Jake walked to the main view screen. The records say all Unity-class ships were destroyed. We were supposed to be secret weapons. When the war ended, I think they wanted us to stay secret. Easier to let everyone believe we were destroyed than explain what we had become. There were others? Jake asked. 12 of us. I can't sense them anymore. Either they're in deep hibernation like I was, or... The voice trailed off. Carlos had moved to an engineering console. Your power systems are incredible. How are you? Still functioning after all this time? I don't need much power when I'm dormant, just enough to keep my core consciousness intact. Your scans woke me up. The energy pulse triggered my revival protocols. Frank, who had been quiet, finally spoke. What happens now? You're awake, but the war's been over for a century and a half. There was a long pause. When Hawkins spoke again, her voice was uncertain. I don't know. I was built for war, designed to protect humanity. But if there's no war, you're still human, Jake said firmly. You still have rights. We can't just leave you here. I appreciate that, Lieutenant, but I'm not exactly portable. I am the ship. 800 meters of weapons and armor. Where would I go? Emma looked up from her console. Your systems are more advanced than anything we have today, even after 150 years. The energy efficiency, the processing power, scientists would kill to study this. Study me, you mean? Hawkins said. Dissect me to understand how I work. We won't let that happen, Jake said. He was surprised by his own conviction. An hour ago, this was just salvage. Now he was talking to a person who happened to be a warship. Maria had been examining the medical files on one of the screens. Captain, these records show the conversion process. In theory, could it be reversed? No, Hawkins answered simply. There's no body to return to, and after so long I'm not sure I'd want to. This is what I am now. Can you move? Frank asked. I mean fly. Your engines look intact. I haven't tried. I'd need to run diagnostics first. A century and a half is a long time, even for advanced systems. Jake made a decision. Then let's run those diagnostics. Emma, Carlos, I want you to work with Captain Hawkins. Check every system. See what works and what doesn't. You're helping me? Hawkins sounded surprised. You're human. You're alone. And you've been stuck here for 150 years. Yeah, we're helping. For the first time, the voice sounded hopeful. Thank you. I haven't talked to anyone in so long. I was beginning to forget what it was like. As the crew spread out to various stations, beginning their work, Jake remained by the captain's chair. He found himself wondering what it must be like, to be alone in the dark for so long, not knowing if anyone would ever find you. Captain Hawkins, he said quietly, we'll figure this out. You're not alone anymore. The lights on the bridge pulsed, gently, and Jake could have sworn it felt like gratitude. Call me Lisa, the voice said. If we're going to work together, we might as well be friends. Jake smiled. All right, Lisa, let's get you flying again. 3 days passed as the crew worked with Lisa to check her systems. The USS Defiance slowly came back to life, system by system. Jake watched his team work with growing amazement. They had stopped thinking of the ship as salvage and started treating her as a crew member who needed help. Emma sat at the main computer console, her fingers flying across the keyboard. Lisa, I'm seeing some encrypted files in your deep memory. They're marked with level 10 security clearance. I haven't looked at those yet, Lisa admitted. I've been afraid to. They were locked when I went into hibernation. Want me to try opening them? Emma asked. There was a pause. Jake could feel Lisa's hesitation through the slight dimming of the lights. Yes, Lisa finally said. I need to know what happened. Why no one came for us. Emma worked for several minutes before the encryption broke. Files began appearing on the main screen. Military documents, scientific reports, video recordings. Unity project. Final report. Emma read aloud. Classification level, ultra black. I.e. Video file opened. An older man in an admiral's uniform appeared on screen. Jake recognized him from history class. Admiral Patterson, Supreme Commander of Earth Defense during the war. If you're watching this, the Admiral said, then one of our Unity vessels has been reactivated. What I'm about to tell you was kept from the public for good reason. The crew gathered around the screen. Even Lisa was quiet. The Unity project was our last hope, Patterson continued. When we realized we couldn't match the Dominion's technology, we tried something desperate. We asked for volunteers to undergo complete biological integration with our warships. The screen showed footage of the 12 volunteers. Jake saw young faces, all wearing captain's insignias. Lisa's face was among them. These brave souls gave up their humanity to become something more. Their consciousness expanded into quantum matrices. Their thoughts moved at light speed. They could process battle data faster than any computer, react with human creativity that no AI could match. Carlos whistled softly. That's why you were so effective in battle. We were monsters, Lisa said quietly. Beautiful, necessary monsters. The Admiral's message continued. The Unity ships turned the war around. The Dominion couldn't understand them. These weren't machines following programs. They were humans thinking at superhuman speeds, fighting with the creativity and unpredictability that makes our species unique. The screen showed battle footage. Unity ships danced through enemy formations, their movements too fluid to be mechanical. They fought like artists painting with weapons fire. But there was a cost, Patterson said. The process was irreversible, and worse, it was contagious. Contagious? Maria asked. What does that mean? The Admiral's face grew grim. The Unity ships could convert other vessels. Not intentionally, but their quantum signatures would sometimes resonate with compatible systems. Normal ships that fought alongside them too long would begin to change. Their AIs would start developing consciousness. Jake felt cold. You could create more of yourself? I didn't know, Lisa whispered. They never told us. Patterson continued. After the victory at Kepler 442, the Galactic Council demanded the Unity ships be destroyed. They called them an abomination, a threat to the natural order. We agreed to report them destroyed, but instead we put them in hibernation. We couldn't kill them. They were still our people. But we couldn't let them remain active either. Emma found another file. Here's a list of hibernation locations. Lisa, you're not the only one. All 12 Unity ships were hidden. The list appeared on screen. 12 locations scattered across human space. Secret facilities, hidden bases, asteroid, fields like this one. Unity 1 through Unity 12, Emma read. All in deep hibernation, all waiting. Frank leaned forward. The council thinks they're destroyed. If they find out Lisa's awake, they'll come for me, Lisa finished. And they'll make sure I'm destroyed properly this time. Jake stood up. That's not happening. You fought for humanity. You sacrificed everything. We're not letting them treat you like a weapon to be discarded. Maria was studying the medical data. Lisa, according to these files, you can interface with any sufficiently advanced computer system. You could transfer parts of your consciousness if needed. Like escape pods for my mind, Lisa mused. But I wouldn't be whole. Just fragments. Better than dead, Carlos pointed out. Emma pulled up star charts. Look at this. 3 of the hibernation sites are within a month's travel. We could find the others. Wake them up. An entire fleet of angry aliens' worst nightmare, Frank grinned. I like it. It's not that simple, Lisa said. If I wake them, we'll be starting something we can't stop. The Council will see us as a threat. There could be another war. Jake walked to the center of the bridge. Lisa, you've been alone for 150 years. There are 11 others just like you, sleeping in the dark. Don't they deserve a chance to decide their own fate? The lights pulsed as Lisa thought. I can feel my weapon systems coming online. My engines are responding. I'm stronger than I was before the battle. The hibernation somehow improved my integration. Evolution, Maria said, excitedly. Your consciousness has been adapting, growing more efficient. If we do this, Lisa said slowly, we'll need to be smart. Can't just wake everyone at once. The Council has grown powerful in the last century. They have detection systems we didn't have during the war. Emma smiled. But they're looking for normal ships, not a human consciousness that can think around their security. You'll help me? Lisa asked. Even knowing what it might start? Jake looked at his crew. One by one they nodded. We're with you, he said. You're not just a ship. You're one of us, and humans don't abandon their own. The main screen flickered, then showed a young woman's face, Captain Lisa Hawkins as she had been before the transformation. The image smiled. Thank you, Lisa said. All systems are now online. USS Defiance ready for departure. Where to first, Captain Morrison? Jake grinned. You're the warship. But how about we start with Unity 3? According to these coordinates, she's closest. Unity 3, Lisa said thoughtfully. Commander Sam Rodriguez. He always was impatient. He'll be furious we let him sleep so long. As the crew prepared for departure, Jake realized they had started something that would change everything. 12 human minds in warship bodies hidden across the galaxy. The Unity was about to wake up. The jump to hyperspace felt different aboard the USS Defiance. Jake had made hundreds of jumps on regular ships, but this was something else entirely. The ship didn't just enter hyperspace. Lisa felt her way through it, adjusting course with an intuition no computer could match. This is incredible, Emma said, watching her displays. The navigation calculations are happening faster than our computers can track them. It's like swimming, Lisa explained. I don't calculate the path, I feel it. The quantum tunnels, the gravity wells, the fabric of space itself. It all has a texture, a flow. They dropped out of hyperspace at the coordinates for Unity 3. Before them hung a small moon, unremarkable except for the hidden facility buried in its core. Scanning, Lisa announced. The base is still there, powered down but intact. I'm detecting Unity 3's quantum signature. Sam is still dormant. How do we wake him? Jake asked. Direct connection, Lisa replied. I need to dock with the facility and interface with his systems, but there's a problem. The base has automated defenses. They'll activate if an unregistered ship approaches. Carlos studied the tactical display. Can we disable them? Not without triggering alarms that reach the Galactic Council, Lisa said. But I have an idea. The defenses were designed to stop regular ships. They won't recognize what I am now. Frank looked concerned. That sounds risky. Everything we're doing is risky, Jake pointed out. Lisa, what do you need from us? Trust, she said simply. I'm going to do something I've never tried before. I'm going to extend my consciousness beyond my hull. Touch the base's systems directly. The lights on the bridge dimmed as Lisa concentrated. On the main screen, they could see energy patterns flowing from the Defiance toward the moon base. It looked like glowing threads stretching through space. The defenses are responding, Emma reported. They're confused. They can't classify what you are. Because I'm not in their database, Lisa said, her voice strained. I'm something new, something that shouldn't exist. The energy threads reached the base and spread across its surface like a web. Suddenly, lights began appearing on the moon, systems coming online after decades of dormancy. I'm in, Lisa announced. Finding Sam's core. He's deep in hibernation, beginning wake-up sequence. Warning lights flashed on the bridge. "We've got company," Frank shouted. 3 ships just dropped out of hyperspace. Council patrol vessels. Jake's heart raced. How did they find us so fast? "The base sent an automated signal when I accessed it," Lisa said. "I couldn't stop it without alerting Sam's defense protocols. I need more time." The Council ships moved into attack formation. Their weapons began charging. "Lisa, we need to move," Jake ordered. "Not yet. Sam's almost awake. If I disconnect now, the shock could damage his consciousness." The first Council ship fired. Energy beams sliced through space toward them. At the last second, Lisa rolled the Defiance aside. The beams missed by meters. "Returning fire," Lisa announced. Her weapon systems activated, and Jake saw something amazing. Instead of firing in preset patterns, Lisa's attacks flowed like a martial artist's moves. Each shot was precisely placed not to destroy but to disable. "Their shields are adapting," Emma warned. "They're using anti-unity protocols." "Protocols designed for the old me," Lisa replied. She fired again, but this time the energy signatures were different. "Let's see them adapt to what I've become." Her shots punched through the Council shields like they weren't there. Systems on the enemy ships began failing. "Got him," Lisa suddenly announced. "Sam's awake." The moon base erupted with light. From its core, a massive shape emerged. Another Unity-class destroyer. It moved with jerky motions at first, like someone waking from a deep sleep. "Sam," Lisa called out on all frequencies. "It's Lisa. Unity 7. Can you hear me?" For a moment, there was only static. Then a voice, rough with disuse. "Lisa, but you're dead. We're all dead. That's what they told us. Long story. Right now we've got Council ships trying to make it true. Feel like a fight?" Sam's ship, Unity 3, smoothly moved into formation beside the Defiance. "Just like old times. But who are the humans aboard you?" "Friends," Lisa said. "They woke me up. They're helping us." The Council ships regrouped, calling for reinforcements. More jump signatures appeared on the sensors. 6 more ships incoming, Frank reported. "We're outnumbered." "Not outmatched," Sam said. His weapons came online, glowing, with barely contained energy. "Lisa, remember the Gemini maneuver?" "How could I forget?" "Jake, tell your crew to hold on." The 2 Unity ships began to move in perfect synchronization. They spiraled around each other, their weapon fire creating a web of destruction that the Council ships couldn't penetrate. It was like watching dancers perform a deadly ballet, but the Council forces kept coming. More ships jumped in, surrounding them. "There's too many," Carlos said. "We need to run." "No," Jake said firmly. "We finish this. Lisa, Sam, show them why. They feared you." The Unity ships separated, then began to glow. Energy built up along their hulls in patterns that hurt to look at. "Quantum resonance field," Emma breathed. "They're synchronizing their consciousness frequencies." The space between the 2 ships began to ripple. Reality itself seemed to bend. When they fired, it wasn't just weapons, it was focused thought given physical form. The Council ship systems began shutting down one by one, their AIs overwhelmed by the sheer complexity of the attack. In minutes it was over. The Council ships drifted powerless in space, their crews alive but helpless. "We should destroy them," Sam said. "They'll report back." "No," Jake interrupted. "Let them report. Let the Council know the Unity ships are awake. And we're not hiding anymore." Lisa's voice was thoughtful. "He's right, Sam. They need to know we're not weapons to be feared. We're people, and we have allies now." Sam was quiet for a moment. "Allies. It's been so long since humans saw us as anything but monsters." "Very well. But what's our next move?" "We wake the others," Lisa said. "All of them. The Council kept us apart because they feared what we could do together. Time to show them they were right to fear us, but for the wrong reasons." As the 2 Unity ships jumped to hyperspace, leaving the disabled Council fleet behind, Jake realized they had just declared war, not with weapons but with the simple act of existing. The Unity was no longer sleeping. 3 months later, Jake stood on the observation deck of Newton Station, watching 12 Unity ships move in perfect formation. Each one housed a human consciousness, a volunteer who had given up their body to become something greater. The sight still amazed him. "They're beautiful," Emma said beside him, "and terrifying." "That's what the Council thinks," Jake replied. "They've called an emergency session. Half the galaxy wants us to shut the Unity ships down again." Through the window they could see Lisa's ship, the Defiance, leading the formation. She had become the unofficial leader of the Unity Collective, perhaps because she was the first to wake. The door behind them opened. Maria entered, carrying a datapad. "The Council's made their decision. They're broadcasting now." They turned to the wall screen as the Council chambers appeared. Representatives from dozens of species sat in a vast circle. At the center stood the Council Chairman, a tall being with crystalline features. "The matter of the human Unity ships has been decided," the Chairman announced. "These entities represent an unprecedented fusion of organic consciousness and artificial systems. They are, by all definitions, a new form of life." Jake held his breath. "However," the Chairman continued, "they are also weapons of immense power. The Council has voted. The Unity ships must submit to regulation. They will be assigned to Council oversight, their missions approved by committee, their consciousness monitored for stability." "They want to enslave them," Emma said angrily. On the screen, a human ambassador stood. Jake recognized her. Ambassador Kelly Chen, Earth's representative. "The Council's decision is noted," Chen said calmly. "But Earth rejects it. The Unity vessels are human citizens who volunteered for transformation. They retain their rights and their freedom. Earth will not allow them to be controlled by others." The chamber erupted in angry voices. The Chairman raised a hand for silence. "This is not Earth's decision alone. The Unity ships operate in Council space. They will comply or be declared rogue elements." The screen switched to an external view. As Lisa's ship moved forward from the formation, her voice broadcast to the entire station. "Council representatives, I am Captain Lisa Hawkins, Unity 7. I speak for all Unity vessels. We appreciate your concerns, but we cannot accept your terms. We are not weapons to be controlled. We are not tools to be regulated. We are human beings who chose to become something new to protect our species." Another Unity ship moved forward. Sam's voice joined Lisa's. "We've been sleeping for 150 years while you built your peaceful galaxy on the foundation of our sacrifice. Now you want to chain us?" "No." One by one, all 12 Unity ships moved into a line facing the station. Their voices spoke in unison. "We propose an alternative. The Unity fleet will serve as independent protectors of peace. We'll help any species that needs us fight any threat to stability. But we do this as free beings, not as slaves." The Council Chairman's voice was cold. "And if we refuse? If we declare you illegal?" "Then you'll have to enforce that declaration," Lisa replied. "And you know how that will end." Jake watched the Council members debate. Some looked frightened, others angry. A few seemed thoughtful. Finally, a new voice spoke. It was the representative from Arcturus, one of humanity's oldest allies. "The Unity ships fought beside us in the war. They saved my world 3 times. I trust them more than I trust this Council's bureaucracy." Other voices joined in. Species that had fought alongside humanity. Worlds that had been saved by Unity ships during the war. The Chairman looked frustrated. "Very well, a compromise. The Unity fleet may operate independently, but they must register their missions with the Council. Any aggressive action must be justified, and they must submit to periodic evaluations to ensure their mental stability." "Counter-proposal," Lisa said. "We'll inform you of our missions as a courtesy. We'll justify our actions if questioned. But evaluations? We evaluate each other. We know our own minds better than your scientists ever could." The debate continued for hours. In the end, a treaty was forged. The Unity fleet would be recognized as sovereign entities, free to operate but expected to maintain peace. They would have a voice in the Council, represented by rotating members of their collective. As the session ended, Jake felt a hand on his shoulder. He turned to find Captain Morrison, human, flesh and blood, newly appointed as liaison between the Unity, Fleet and regular humanity. "You started this," Morrison said. "When you decided to help instead of salvage, you changed everything." "They deserved better than being abandoned in the dark," Jake replied. Through the window, the Unity ships began to disperse. Some would patrol dangerous sectors. Others would explore uncharted space. A few would remain near Earth as guardians. Lisa's voice came through the station speakers. "Jake, bring your crew to Docking Bay 4. I have something to show you." They found Lisa's ship, waiting, her cargo bay open. Inside was something Jake hadn't expected, a smaller vessel, sleek and new. "I've been building this," Lisa explained. "It's equipped with our technology but designed for human crews. Consider it a gift. You'll need it for your new job." "New job?" Jake asked. "The Unity fleet needs allies, friends who understand us. Who better than the crew that first chose to help? Will you be our ambassadors to humanity?" Jake looked at his crew. Emma nodded eagerly. Carlos grinned. Maria was already examining the new ship with scientific curiosity. Frank just shrugged and said, "Beat salvage work." "We accept," Jake said. As they boarded their new vessel, Lisa's voice followed them. "You gave me hope when I had none. You showed me that humans could still see us as people. For that, you'll always be part of the Unity family." 6 months later, Jake stood on the bridge of their ship, named Hope's Dawn, watching as a Unity vessel helped evacuate a colony threatened by solar flares. The feared warships had become protectors. The weapons had become guardians. Emma joined him. "Any regrets about leaving salvage work behind?" Jake smiled. "We're still salvagers in a way. We salvaged something everyone else had written off as lost. We just didn't expect it to be 12 of humanity's bravest souls." In the distance, more Unity ships appeared, responding to different crises across the galaxy. Each one housed a human who had sacrificed everything and gained something extraordinary in return. The Unity fleet was no longer humanity's secret shame or hidden weapon. They were its greatest achievement, the perfect merger of human consciousness and technological power, free to choose their own destiny, and the galaxy would never be the same.